My name is Tess Harrison, and I will be reviewing an app for you today on the Apple iPad called StickPick. To access this app on an iPad, you will go to the App Store. You will press the Explore button down here in the middle, and up in the top right search bar, you will type the name of the app, which is StickPick. And here it is. It should be the top left one up here with a blue background and a little jar of sticks. It is a free app, so from here you could press the download button, or if you already have downloaded the app, you just press open. And the app will open right up for you. As the app opens, this is the page that you are directed to. You can create multiple classes in the app, so multiple jars of names, which is one thing I find very useful about this app. So, we are going to begin by naming our class. We're just going to name it Mrs. Harrison to keep it simple. Press return. And here's our jar. It has the name of the class up here. Our jar is currently empty because we have not added any students. So let's add our first student. To add a student, you press the addition button over there and you type the name of your student. One thing I have found with the app is that you need to enter a first and last name. You cannot just enter a first name. So now we've added our first student. The next step is to select a question STEM mode for this student. One thing I particularly like about this app is it is not only useful as picking student tool, it is useful as a assessment tool. Because as you pick a question STEM mode, it will create assessment questions for you once you pick that student's name based on the STEM mode that you chose. So let's go to Bloom's taxonomy list. And you select the level of Bloom's taxonomy that you wish to set as the default degree for this student. So it has all the levels of Bloom's taxonomy. Let's say Kate is at a level of application. So you select level, press done. We have our first student. Let's add another student. You can press return or save. Let's say John is an ESL student. It has a convenient ESL button, and you select the level of ESL learner that they are. Let's say he is early intermediate. 2 sticks, we'll add one more. And there's also a mode for stick only. If you select stick only, if you draw that student's name, it won't come up with any questions for you to ask. It will just be the student's name on a stick. So that is okay with me. So from here, let's say I want to pick a stick to ask a question. So to pick a stick, you just swipe up and it will pick a stick for you. It says the name of the student and says their level. He was an early intermediate ESL learner. And it has a list of assessment questions that you can ask the student, which I find really helpful also as an assessment tool. So let's say I asked John one of these questions. Who is the character in the story? I can press assess up here next to his name. Select if his answer was correct, incorrect, or if it was an opinion question. I'll select correct. Then I select the answer. Let's say he gave a sentence with some detail. So from here, I can either reset the stick to be drawn again or mark it as used. We'll mark it as used. So the used sticks go in this used pile. So when you draw a new stick, the used ones cannot be used. So we'll draw another stick. I got Liz's stick. Since I set Liz as stick only, this is what the format looks like if you set all your students or some students to stick only. It just has their name, which could be helpful as a classroom management tool. So we will mark this as used as well. Let's say that I want to bring my used students back into the big stick pile. All I do is press reset right down here, and all the sticks are back. So if we want to go back and look at the assessments that we asked our students using this tool, we can go to roster down here, and it has a list of all our students that are in this particular class. Say I want to look at John's answer that he gave. It says the date that I asked the question, the result, it was correct, and the response, I rated it a 4. Up here, it says his level, his percent correct, and his response average. If you had all your students set as this, it would be very helpful because you can just easily look back and see how they've been doing on your questions. You can send the results. You can edit. You can edit his name, clear his scores, or delete the student if they leave your class. And we can go back to the roster. And this is how it looks for the students that are just stick only. It says stick only, so it doesn't have any information for them. So let's go back to our sticks. So say we draw a stick. Let's reset the stick so it stays in there. If we want to peek and see the sticks that are left that haven't been called yet, so let's say we drew that stick, we can mark it as used, and we want to see which sticks are left in our jar. So all we do is press peek, and it tells us the name of the students who are still left. And we can reset if we'd like. So that is how you add students. This is how we look at the roster of all our students, and from here is where you can delete students by editing their info and deleting our student. If we want to make multiple classes, we press the classes up here. This is the only class we have right now, but you can press the plus sign, name another class. We'll say this is a science class. And we have another jar. We can go back, it says the name of the class up here. We can go back to our classes and see our list of classes. Once you click on the name of the class, you press sticks to go to their sticks, roster to go to the roster of that class, or settings. You can rename the class, copy the class, or delete the class. I also like the options it has here. It has different options for how you pick the sticks. You can shake the iPad to pick the sticks, turn that option on or off, tap to pick the sticks, use sound, or you can turn it into left-hand mode. And you can change all the options. So, you can go back to your sticks. I really love this app as a classroom management and assessment tool. I think it is an easy way to create exit tickets to assess your students' learning before they leave the class. You simply come up with a question about something you did that day, and you'll use this app to randomly choose a student to ask. And depending on the student, and depending on their level, you can use one of these guiding questions about something they learned that day, and you can assess them. And you can go back later on in the week and look at all your exit tickets and how many they got right. And that is the app Stick Pick.